welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In this episode we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As well as reviewing some toys, we're going to be looking at the history of the Alien franchise and its relationship with the toy aisle. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So what brought about this video was the recent purchase of these Alien collection toys that I got for my 10-year-old son, both last year for his 10th birthday and also for Christmas. Now, looking into the history of the Alien franchise, there has been several attempts to create toys based on the series. And the first attempt was when the very first film, directed by Ridley Scott, was released. So legend has it that back in 1979, Kenner Toys, who owned the rights to the Star Wars toy line, were looking for the next big thing and inquired with 20th Century Fox, who made and distributed Star Wars, if they had anything in the pipeline, as space movies were all the rage and space toys were taking off and selling like hotcakes off the toy aisles. 20th Century Fox responded and said, yeah, we've got a film in pre-production now. It's being filmed in London, England, at Shepperton Studios, and it's going to be called Alien. What 20th Century Fox didn't tell Kenner Toys when they were signing the contract to then produce a toy line is that it would actually be a psychological thriller stroke horror movie with extreme sections of violence and gore. Kenner wasn't aware of this, so started to put a toy line into production. They started to devise and prototype a 3.75 inch line of action figures that would be in similar scale to the Star Wars action figure line. And to test the waters, they sculpted and produced a 18 inch Alien figure, which would then be released into stores in time for the release of the movie in America. And what happened next was the stuff of toy legend.
Kenner presents new Alien action figure.
Hey man, 12, quick, shut the hell up. The alien's locked out now. He got through. Give up. Alien can't be beat. We'll tackle with the light. Dawn, he'll destroy the spaceship. We've lost. Better find another ship. Let's try to catch him. Another trial for Alien.
Alien action figure, new from Kenner.
The controversy over the 18 inch Alien figure was huge. Kids loved it, but parents were complaining about a toy line that was aimed at children based on an R-rated movie that kids couldn't go to the cinema to see. Due to all the complaints and the controversy around it, Kenner then saw the final picture and realised that it was really not kid appropriate and decided to cancel the toy line. So the 3.75 inch toys were never produced. However, that story doesn't end there, and we'll pick that up later. The release of Aliens in 1986 was a huge box office hit around the world, but Kenner wasn't interested. They stayed away from the franchise with a barge pole, very much in mind of obviously the controversy and what had happened back in 1979. But something strange started to happen. We started to see toy lines based on, effectively, adult movie franchises. The Rambo First Blood Part 2 spawned a Saturday morning cartoon serial based on Rambo. And that in itself then spawned a toy line of action figures which was produced by Galoob. Then in 1987, with the release of Paul Verhoeven's RoboCop, an ultra-violent and ultra-satirical science fiction movie set in a dystopian future, suddenly then spawned itself another Saturday morning cartoon series, and with that also an action figure line which was popular with children. Suddenly you had these movie franchises that weren't appropriate for children spawning cartoon series and action figures and playsets that Kenner took another look at the Alien franchise and realised that with the sequel, Aliens, being based more on space super soldiers, colonial marines as they were described in the film, fighting aliens, that it would be a much better basis in which to develop a toy line. So they then came up with Operation Aliens, which would be the tagline of the forthcoming planned toy range. Now this is where it starts to get a little mixed, because according to urban myth, Kenner commissioned a Saturday morning cartoon series and a pilot was developed, even though no footage of the cartoon series pilot has ever come to light. This mystery was later solved a couple of years back on social media when one of the original animators of that sequence decided to go on Twitter and confirm the facts. No Saturday morning cartoon was ever commissioned by Fox or Kenner, but what was commissioned was a short animated sequence that would form part of the advertising campaign, as Kenner decided that a cartoon segment to run alongside a demonstration of the toys in the commercials would look a lot better than actually running footage from the movie. However, that was vetoed, and what they decided to do was then run with clips from the movie when they launched this new range of toys, simply titled Aliens.
They're unstoppable, but we're gonna stop them anyway. Send in the Marines. We're the Space Marines. Drake, Ripley, Apone, Bishop, and I'm Hicks, armed with the latest high-tech heavy metal.
Look out, Hicks! The Queen's gonna crown you! Like Bug Rockers on a roll! Full alien attacking! Eat torch, Bug Brain!
Alien invasion problem? Send in the Marines. Aliens.
Send in the Marines!
Space Marines. Aliens.
Off the back of a very successful marketing campaign, the Aliens toy line launched in 1992 and ran all the way up to the release of the fourth film in the franchise, Alien Resurrection, in 1997, where the range was then morphed into promoting that movie. It produced many variant figures across its toy line, including many different versions of the Alien figures, many different versions of Ripley and the other Marine characters that we saw in the movie franchise. Whilst Alien Resurrection was a modest hit at the box office, the toy range didn't exactly set the toy aisles alight and quickly disappeared into bargain bins everywhere. Hasbro, which had since purchased Kenner, decided to let the license expire and weren't interested in producing a toy line for the next film in the franchise, Alien vs Predator, in 2004. Alien was very much now a collector's franchise, with the toys and action figures aimed at adult collectors rather than children. However, that all changed back in 2013 when Funko Pop, the makers of those atrocious pop vinyl figures, decided to get back into the action figure market. And they came up with a line called Reaction Figures. And these were 3.75 inch action figures that were in scale to your original Star Wars toys produced by Kenner and Palitoy back in the 70s and 80s. And these were almost a what if line. What if Kenner had produced these action figures? And the first film they chose to base and launch their line on was Alien. Super 7 Funko even took the original designs from the cancelled 1979 line and put these into production. Figures on card here, which is part of my collection. And as you can see, it's extremely detailed, and it's just how a figure like that would have appeared had Kenner actually produced the range back in 1979. As you see, the card back is extremely similar to how the Star Wars cards were advertising other figures in the range and also describing the special features. And that brings us back up to 2019 and Alien's 40th anniversary. The company Lanard started to obtain the license from 20th Century Fox and produced a range of action figures and playsets based on the Alien franchise, which were exclusive to Walmart in the US and also exclusive to Smyth's toy stores over here in the UK. Obviously, this is based on the Alien as it appears in Alien 3 or Alien Cubed, depending on how you want to recognise that film. And it even comes with its egg and a pop-out face hugger. Guys who come with it, who are supposed to be colonial marines, are slightly based on the spacesuits from Alien, but they're very much generic action figures. They're not based on any particular characters like they were on the Kenner line, so obviously they're not paying for the names, and they're certainly not paying for the likenesses of the actors. And they do come with some silly things such as this Weyland-Yutani futuristic motorbike, which I never saw in the films, but the fact that they do actually look really good. Now obviously they're probably sculpted in these colours to make them a little less scary. There's even the detail of the tubing on the alien's back, and obviously they're fully articulate. You can move them around. They really are good for posing, and he's had some great times playing with these. And this one's the Xenomorph Attack Space Colony Defense Alien Battle Set. Now, as you can see, that comes with a green coated alien this time, and something that is not exactly screen accurate, but it is described as a power loader on the packaging, and it comes with its own little colonial marine, it's described as, and obviously you can pop him in there. Some nice detail on the back of the packaging, and it's interesting that I've only just noticed this, but they've used a still from Alien Covenant as the basis of the illustration there. And this whole range is still available at Smyth's Toys, and at the moment they are quite cheap. They start from $6.99, ranging up to about $24.99. And at the time that this was ordered for Santa to deliver it, it was roughly around about, I think, $16.99, which for the sheer size of the figure, I think is a brilliant value for money. The fact that they've done an Alien Queen for $16.99 is just absolutely amazing. And some brilliant figure artwork there on the side, and some lovely detail on the packaging there. It even has the whole thing of, let's get this closer, so if you can see that, you move the head and the little mandible jaw, the little mouth comes out of the larger mouth. You know what, if I wasn't tempted to, I'd actually probably keep this myself, but Santa brought it. It is a Christmas present, like I said, one that is yet to open, but I'm even tempted to get one of those myself, because I think so. There we have it. There's a brief history of the Alien franchise in toy form, and I do find it strange that they're basing a toy line on, like I said, a film series that is effectively aimed at adults. It's a cool toy line, and I think even if you were a collector and you weren't of the appropriate age of who this is aimed for, it would still be worth picking up, certainly at the prices that they're currently available on the Smyth's Toys website. So check them out. Well, hope you liked that little brief history of the Alien toy franchise, and if you did, please leave a like and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, and also hit that notification bell to get notified whenever we load up a brand new video. In the meantime, stay safe, look after yourselves, take care, and we'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye now. Ended up in bargain basements. Bargain bins, bargain bins.